Kelly Cannon, and this is the Salt Lake Tribune Daily Buzz, a video series where we bring you the important story of the day. So California, Arizona, and Nevada have all agreed to use less Colorado River water in the next few years. And while the agreement doesn't apply to the Upper Basin states like Utah, it doesn't mean that Utah won't be affected. The Colorado River supports around 40 million people living in seven states, tribal reservations, and Mexico, but its volume has dropped by 1/3 in the recent years. That has put hydropower production and more than 5 million acres of farmland at risk, while also stoking political tensions. The U.S. Department of the Interior called on the river's water users to cut their use by 2 to 4 million acre-feet of water this year alone. When the 7 Colorado River Basin states couldn't reach a resolution on how to do that, the feds upped the pressure by signaling that they would force mandates of their own. The 3 lower basin states, California, Arizona, and Nevada, announced on Monday that they had found a short-term solution that would cut a collective 3 million acre-feet of water over 3 years in exchange for $1.2 billion from the federal government. So why did only those 3 states have to submit a plan and not the states in the Upper Basin like Utah? So part of that reason is that the law of the river is century old, with extensive litigation sprinkled throughout the signing of the Colorado River Compact in 1922 and the conflicts the states are experiencing today. So in a nutshell, the interstate agreements mean that the Upper Basin states must deliver 7.5 million acre-feet to the senior water right holders in the Lower Basin states before they can use their own allotted 7.5 million acre-feet. And the Lower Basin has tapped their full allotment, spurring past conflicts amongst those states. A spat between Arizona and California more than 6 decades ago resulted in the Interior Department, currently helmed by Secretary Deb Haaland, becoming a water master of sorts to the Lower Basin, which is why Haaland has the authority to make cuts there. Quote, however, she does not have the same authority in the Upper Basin, explained Amy Haas, executive director of the Colorado River Authority of Utah. Rather, any reduction in use in the Upper Basin are a function of individual state law and regulation, as well as hydrologic shortages, something that Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Wyoming experience almost every year. Because the Upper Basin states only use a fraction of what they are allowed to use in the compact, they haven't had a need for a federal water master yet. But with growing populations and stresses of their own, it's clear the system isn't working in the Upper Basin either. Because of the drought conditions in Lake Mead and the Lower Basin states, the Upper Basin states have to release water out of Lake Powell to ensure the senior water rights are getting fulfilled. That means a loss of recreational opportunities for Utahns in Lake Powell and Flaming Gorge, as well as those reservoirs get tapped to meet their downstream obligation. It also means that communities like St. George can't count on water or the Lake Powell pipeline to meet their growing demand. So what will the Lower Basin states do with the $1.2 billion from the government? It's most likely that it will be used to encourage farmers to fallow their fields and improve irrigation practices. But because the announcement is just a 3-page summary of what those states intend to do, details remain slim and they will need to somehow prove that their efforts result in actual reduced use. Gage Zobel, a water law expert at the partner firm of Dorsey and Whitney, said farmers cannot be forced to take the money. Quote, in some ways, this is very aspirational. We think it will work, but we haven't seen it work yet. So the Lower Basin states include farms which produce much of the food the United States relies on, however. And the water cuts will absolutely drive up food prices, he added. Quote, we as a nation are going to bear the cost of this, Zobel said. We are going to see prices go up beyond inflationary issues. So ultimately, the Lower Basin plan is just to be a stopgap scrabble for the solutions over the next 3 years, Zobel said. We can't pay billions of dollars every year for people to stop using water, he said. And with the full details yet to be fleshed out, there is no guarantee that it will even work. Now, we want to hear from you. What do you think of this latest effort to try to conserve water on the Colorado River? Do you think more needs to be done from the lower basins in order to ensure that the upper basins have water? Comment below, or you can tweet us at SLTrib. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you want all of our Salt Lake Tribune videos, including the Daily Buzz, as soon as they are live, be sure that you're subscribed. You can also find us on social media such as TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at SLTrib. Thanks.